Hey everybody, welcome back to Mind Keys once again. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about what I think is a really important, really interesting topic that is another one of these things that is very much a basics, beginner concept that is not very spoken about very much in the psychedelic therapy community. And, just in general online, I don't see a lot of information about this topic. And this is really clarifying and kind of drilling down into trying to help you understand what is meant when you see people say, let go when it comes to psychedelics and going with the trip and this kind of basic, skill set of working with the psychedelic. What exactly does that mean? So for a beginner, for someone who's never taken a psychedelic, or even maybe someone who has, that may not be really clear. So my hope today is that we can kind of really elucidate this for you, make it much more understandable and obvious to you, because I feel like this is an important teaching, one of the most important things you can learn about working with psychedelics, and it just doesn't get spoken about or made clear to a lot of people. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it. And really briefly, I would be remiss as a business owner and as someone trying to help you out with feeling better and self-healing if I didn't let you know that I just recently made a course for you. So if you are somebody who is dealing with anxiety issues, PTSD, depression, overwhelm, stress, dissociation, fight or flight, anything like this, and you are finding yourself dysregulated on the, frequently, on the often, if that was what I was going to say here, and you are just struggling to feel centered, struggling to feel safe in your own skin, you find yourself upset at a lot of different things. And really the reason you're looking at this channel or you're looking at psychedelics for self-healing is because you just want to feel better more often. And I want to point you towards this course I made. It's a mini course. It's called the Self-Regulation Mini Course. Link is below in the description here. It's super affordable right now. It's actually on sale for the fall, probably for the next month or so, mid-September to mid-October. I'm thinking I'm going to knock 20 bucks off of it. It's absolutely easy to learn. It's 10 techniques that will help you to clear trauma, clear issues, heal anxiety, heal depression, heal PTSD. These are mostly kind of psychosomatic, so that is, body-oriented tools and self-regulation techniques to help you let go of any of these weird, funky states you might find yourself in, come back to center, come back to feeling good, and start feeling better. So these are the tools. If I was going to point you in the direction of the first tools to learn to feel better in your own skin, day in, day out, psychedelics or not, these are the tools I would point you towards. They also happen to be great for when you're tripping and you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed or uncomfortable, or your body's just kind of feeling kind of wonky, or someone else is stressing out and tripping out and needs some soothing. These are awesome for that too. Anyways, I've said too much here. I'm rambling on, but go check it out. It's useful. It's important. You'll get a lot out of it. It's priced really well. The havening technique in there alone is worth the price of the whole course, but you get 9 other techniques, and then there's going to be bonus stuff. I'm going to add more stuff along the way. It's awesome. Highly recommended. Don't snooze on it. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and get back to our topic today. I just want to say really quick also, it's really funny every time I do these kinds of salesy pitches in the middle of my videos, because I'm terrible at marketing, and I'm terrible at selling things and really kind of like, putting out this message of these kind of overt sales messages. It feels a little cheesy to me, but I truly believe, I want to be clear, I truly do believe that the Self-Regulation Mini Course and all the tools in it, which are tools I use with clients and with myself every fucking day, are game-changing, life-changing tools. I really do. So just want to say that, because I know I'm being a little cheesy in the presentation of it, but they really are kick-ass. Okay, so back to this question of what does it mean to let go? So I want to just kind of set this conversation up a little bit before I kind of unpack it here for you. So you'll see a lot, if you're researching psychedelics, you'll see kind of these best practices of, set and setting, making sure you have a trip sitter is another big one. Maybe making sure you have some sort of calm down, thing to help you kind of get out of a trip if it really goes south and really goes bad. Reframing that there's no such thing as a bad trip, just an uncomfortable trip or a difficult trip sometimes. These kind of very common tropes of working with psychedelics. And I really believe, and I've made a video about this previously, which maybe I will link above if I remember to, that there is a whole skill set. There's a whole set of soft skills, really, of mental, emotional, conceptual mindset approaches to working with psychedelics that makes the trip much safer, much easier, especially if you're a beginner. And the paramount, crown jewel, chief, number one, absolute fucking most essential thing you could learn about working with psychedelics. And I'm talking a macrodose here. I'm talking your, 1.5 grams, 2 grams deep on mushrooms. I'm talking 100 micrograms or more of LSD. I'm talking ayahuasca, whatever. The number one thing you want to know is to let go, to surrender. And you'll see this on forums. You'll hear people kind of mention this in passing. This idea of letting go, of working with the psychedelic. But what the fuck does that mean? Like when we say let go, what does that mean? Let go into what? From what? How do you know when you're letting go and when you're not, right? The direction of letting go is so fucking ambiguous that it kind of drives me a little bit crazy. And I feel bad for all the newbies because I see horror stories every week online of people who aren't educated, who aren't literate on how to work with psychedelics. Take a solid dose. It's kind of in vogue right now, especially amongst young people, because they see that they're safe in terms of overdose. There are a lot of people who are kind of new and taking really large doses and then having really rough experiences and getting their ass kicked by the psychedelic and kind of being like, mystified. I thought this was supposed to be so blissful and wonderful, and I just had a terrible time. Well, what makes the difference between being stuck in your ego and transcending your ego, between having a blissful experience where you're filled with joy and ecstasy, and having a terrifying, uncomfortable, awkward, thought loopy, kind of fucked up, weird experience, is your ability to let go. So let's talk about what it means. So again, this is the crown jewel of skills. I can't emphasize that enough. This is if I could tell you one thing, if you're like, Dave, I'm about to go do a bunch of psychedelics for the first fucking time, and I want to make sure I have a good experience. How do I do that? Let go. That's my answer to you. Let go. Surrender into it. Open yourself to it. These are kind of synonyms for what let go means, but let's unpack that further. With psychedelics, one thing that's not said a lot that people need to understand is that there is a whole set of weird body sensations that come with being psychedelic. And I'll do another video on this because this is an important topic to understand in and of itself. But if you're a beginner to psychedelics, there's a whole set of different ways your body feels, and it changes and it morphs and it shifts. My first example of this, with myself, the first time I ever took mushrooms, is that I was coming up, I was sitting down on a couch at my friend's house as a teenager. I was coming up on mushrooms for the first time, and I stood up and I looked down at my feet, and I felt like a giant. I felt like I was, 15 feet tall, and I felt really wide and really like my limbs, my hands, and everything was really thick and full with like blood and life force, and like, boom, like I'd just been lifting weights, even though I didn't lift weights at the time. Something like that. I felt huge. And it was a very strikingly odd sensation that I was very much not used to. However, the course of the night, and of course over the many, many trips I've had ever since, I've gone through all kinds of strange body sensations, and these are not unfamiliar to a tripper. Inside of these body sensations, there's a lot of different ways that it can go, but one of the common things is what's called body load. And it can be almost a sense of pressure in the body, like a building up of pressure, almost like pressure pushing on you a little bit. It can be a sense of electricity and like so much energy in your body that you feel like you have to fidget or walk in circles, or like you want to go run around outside, or like you need to like fucking do something to burn off some of this energy. Like it's like being over caffeinated almost. It can feel like humming in your body, like almost when your limbs go numb a little bit, when your arm goes numb or your leg goes numb a little bit, falls asleep on you, and you kind of get the tingles, right? Which is your circulation being cut off in that case. But oddly enough, psychedelics, you could be laying down in a position or standing up in a position where your circulation is clearly working fine, and you'll have tingles all over your whole body that almost feel like your body's falling asleep or like it's going numb. But this is just the body sensations of being psychedelic. And that can be coupled with all this energy, all this kind of antsiness and squirminess. It can be, you can feel like you're filled with electricity. You can feel like you are, sometimes another way it goes is things start to feel really silly. Things just start to feel really ridiculous and comical and absurd and bizarre. And you might just have like this deep desire to laugh, right? This deep desire to just like giggle and like crack jokes. Like that's a very common, which is so much fun when it happens. Let me see some other examples of ways that this can go. It can feel like sometimes like an emotion coming up, you know, like you're doing great. You had a great day. You're with your friends. You're in a sweet spot. Maybe you're at home. Everything's comfy and clean. And it's all is well. And then you take the psychedelic, and what comes up is a wellspring of sadness or overwhelm or, you know, trepidation or grief or all kinds of different emotions. And the central thing you want to do with all of this is you want to allow your body to relax. And you want to allow, whether it's that abundance of energy that wants to move through you, or that those electric, you know, tingles, or the pressure, or there are all kinds of other sensations. Like I said, I'll make another video about it. When you're having these body sensations, what you want to do is not react to them. What you want to do is relax your body and breathe through them and open up to them and allow the sensations to move through your body. You know, one example that happens a lot is you'll see, you might get, you know, a feeling in a part of your body. You know, maybe you get like tingles on the top of the crown of your head, and it's just up here, and then the rest of your body kind of feels stagnant and weird. And maybe you want to allow that to circulate and breathe that down through your entire body. That would be an example of surrender. Or maybe you're starting to get overwhelmed and you're tripping too hard, too fast, and you feel like it's too much, you know, and you're overstimulated and you want to go lay down. You may go lay down and just want to relax your body entirely and allow yourself to expand. You might feel like you're going to die even. This is a very classic thing. If you take a solid dose of a psychedelic, it's this fear you're going to die. And it feels like you're going to leave your body, and you might have an out-of-body experience. It's been known to happen. But whatever that experience is for you, whether it's an experience of dying and being reborn, or an experience of moving out beyond your body, when you resist it and you resist the body sensations and you try to maintain, you know, being an irrational, logical mind, and you try to force yourself to stay upright and functional and external and engaged and, you know, being normal, like a normal human being, and not working with the messaging you're getting from your inside, that's generally when trips go sideways. That's generally when we get spooked, when we get uncomfortable, when we get kind of fixated on something external, when we get like, you know, weirded out by things. This is when that shit starts to happen, because we are resisting whatever the deeper kind of like tide that's like pushing us along wants to do, which is our own life force, our own life flow, guiding us towards what's going to heal us. Now, you got to remember, the likelihood of you dying on a psychedelic is very, very small in terms of overdose. The likelihood of you going insane, again, is very, very small. You might temporarily lose your typical function in terms of even remembering your name, or knowing how to use words or language well, or making sense of your, you know, visual inputs, but that will come back, you know, and it, you know, you may you may be on the precipice of a spiritual experience, which might be a first time for you, or you may be on the precipice of a profound psychological release and return to this radiant core of your being. But in order for that to happen, your nervous system needs to kind of like shake off the old patterning of who you've been and your identity and your kind of operating system of being you for a little while, and kind of hit the fucking reset button at a deep, deep level. Sometimes that means, so I'm digressing here. Hopefully this is valuable, but what surrendering ultimately means is allowing whatever energy you're feeling in your body to move through your body. What surrendering means and letting go means is working with things and being permissive with yourself. If you're feeling grief and sadness, allow yourself to feel grief and sadness. If you are, overstimulated and need to go close your eyes and lay down, then close your eyes and lay down. And know that often when you're at that state, where the patterns of normal everyday functioning are really getting interrupted, that's usually right about the place where you're going to start to have a spiritual experience or an ego death experience, mystical experience, that kind of a thing. That's when that starts to happen. So holding on and controlling, really, it's kind of a bad metaphor, but it's like trying to hold it in when you really need to poop or something, just go to the bathroom and go. That's what your body wants to do. It's the same thing here with psychedelics. Like when your body wants to surrender into the oneness of all life and reset itself, let it, or when your body wants to, feel the life force flow through it as this electrical, current, open up and breathe and relax and don't fight it and let it move through you. Because when you do, it will renew you. It will heal you. It will teach you. This is the whole thing with psychedelics. This is the courage it takes to take psychedelics, is that you've got to be willing and able and generous enough to completely let go of yourself for a while and fucking bungee jump into the void. I know they normally say that about DMT, but if you get really high on LSD or mushrooms, it's going to be the same bag. It's the same thing. And so I hope this is making more sense. There is a body sensation component, and it can go all kinds of different ways. And if you don't know that that's what's up, that that's part of psychedelics, if you think it's all just in your head, you don't realize there's a strongly physical aspect to it. That's like strange, because on one level you can almost feel dopey and sedated, while at the same time you feel fucking electric and more awake than you've ever felt in your entire life, like comically so, absurdly so, where at the same time you might feel really emotional, where at the same time you might also feel totally zen. And it can be so bizarre to feel these things simultaneously. But that's the psychedelic state. It is all these things and more. So as you're feeling all these sensations, you want to be able to breathe into it repeatedly. You want to be able to allow the energy to move through your body and work with the sensations, and don't let them spook you. Don't let them freak you out. Know that it's normal to feel all these feelings and have awareness awaken in different parts of your body, and allow that to teach you and work with it. You want to be permissive at a deep level of the experience, because here's the fucking thing with the psychedelic. I always just think of it as like you're on a roller coaster. Like there's that moment when you get on a roller coaster where you know it's about to go crazy and you're going up that first hill and it's clack, 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 clack. And you know at that point, there's no getting off the roller coaster. No matter how crazy and wild and hectic and how many loop-de-loops it's going to take you through, it's going to take you through them. It's the same thing with psychedelics. So once you've committed to putting it in your body, the best thing you can do is relax, enjoy the ride, and be permissive about what happens through your state, right? What happens with the energy in your body? What happens with the life force and what it wants to do? It will teach you. It will guide you. It has its own intelligence. It will tell you to, go do yoga and stretch if you need to stretch. It will tell you to drink water if you need to drink water. It will tell you to cry if you need to cry. It will tell you to lay down and relax if you need to lay down and relax. So that's really the key thing I want to convey here to you guys. So, I know this channel, there's a lot of talk about microdosing. There's a lot of talk about mental health in general. And this is more for beginners at the macrodosing end of things. So this is more if you're going to take a full dose, what you might encounter, what you might experience, and how to work with it. And this one skill, when you get good at it, when you get good at letting go, surrendering, working with the energy, working with the feelings, working with the insights, working with and relaxing your body and allowing the sensations to move through you rather than trying to control or react against them. That one skill set will protect you from so many bad experiences and keep things good and keep things beautiful and keep things revelatory and magical and profound and healing. It's really the crux, the crucial skill with psychedelics is working with. And it's a beautiful life lesson for most of us, because most of us, are conditioned into, as we become adults, into control, into wanting our own autonomy, wanting our own sense of control of ourselves, of our body, of our space, of our environment, of those around us. And we kind of take comfort in that sense of control. And to take a psychedelic is to be radically confronted by the truth that ultimately we're not in control, even of our own bodies, that your body's going to do what it's going to do. And that nature, by extrapolation, extrapolating out from that, nature's going to do what it's going to do. Life is going to do what it's going to do. Life has its own intelligence, its own process that we are on the ride of. And it can be unpredictable. And one of the best life skills we can have is this attitude of surrender and working with, and learning how to surf change, surf transformative currents, to kind of ride on the top of them, to glide above them and use them rather than to try to fight them. Now, for some people, for some of you out there, some of these personalities who are more organized around control and security, that can be a tough sell. That can be a difficult thing that I'm saying here. And that can be really triggering and upsetting for some of you, perhaps, and really threatening, because some people, like it feels like life or death. Control can feel like life or death. And if I'm not in control of myself, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to die. Something bad is going to happen to me, et cetera, et cetera. You start to come up with all these kind of like associations that the nervous system carries around safety, well-being, et cetera, which may be good guidelines and kind of generally, things that have served you in the past, particularly when it comes to material reality out in the world, out in life. If you're not in control of your car while you're driving it, that's a problem. If you're not in control of your finances, that's a problem. If you're not in control of, where you're getting your food from, that's a problem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of contexts in life where that makes sense. But when it comes to psychedelics, it's like you're entering the temple. And when you enter the temple, the agreement you got to make with yourself is, I'm putting the control thing down. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you will be beat silly. You'll be thrashed. Your ass will be kicked by your own resistance, by your own contractedness, by your own unwillingness to work with and comply with and open up to. And what's ironic is what you're being invited to open up to is your own life force energy, your own power, your own beauty, your own intelligence and wisdom, your own flow, right? Yeah, like it's a leveling up, it's an improvement that is being invited and invoked for you from the medicine. But for a lot of people, we don't make that connection, we don't get it, and we feel confronted and we feel like it's a struggle. That's when bad trips generally start to get kicked off and happen. So yeah, so I hope this clarifies it. Surrender and letting go is very much a physical thing. It's very much about learning how to relax your body, like a massage, like if you're tense the whole time you're getting a massage, you're fighting the massage therapist, you're not going to get a very good massage. The more you can breathe into it, relax, and allow your body to just unwind and loosen up, the more the massage therapist can get in there and really work those knots out for you and help you feel better. It's really the same thing kind of on a spiritual, emotional, psychological level here with psychedelics. So I hope that clarifies it for you. If I'm not being clear enough here, please leave me a comment below. This is an essential key point for you to get. So if I'm not being clear, if something has not really made sense to you here, ask me questions. I want you to get this. This is important. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble once again. Hopefully this is useful rambling to you. Yeah, this is a protective message to anyone who's a beginner out there, anyone who doesn't get how to let go or what that means. That's why I made this. So big love to you all. Wishing you all the best and take care till I see you again.